watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Keep watching. Otherwise, you know.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? I want to start this video off by asking you guys a question. And if you know anything about boxing, then this should be a very easy question to answer, with the right answer, of course. Let's just say, hypothetically, Tim Bradley was still undefeated. And we just found out that his next opponent is going to be who? Floyd Money Mayweather. Now let's just think about this for a second. Before Tim Bradley lost to Manny Pacquiao, detractors and casual fans, they were starting to say this is the new guy that Mayweather is afraid of. Mayweather is shaking in his boots and he's trying to avoid Tim Bradley, etc., right? This was that guy. And, you know, and even I said that I believe that Tim Bradley would give Floyd Mayweather a hell of a challenge. You know, it could be possibly one of Floyd Mayweather's most competitive fights against Tim Bradley, right? So, with us knowing all of this, now I ask you the question. Would a fight between Floyd Money Mayweather versus an undefeated Tim the Desert Storm Bradley do at a minimum 1 million pay-per-view buys or better? I mean, that's an easy answer, right? Of course it would do at least 1 million pay-per-views. We know this by looking at Floyd Mayweather's track record, right? I mean, if you think about it, the Shane Mosley fight, which I believe now is number 3 highest pay-per-view of all time. Matter of fact, the top 3 pay-per-view records are all held by Floyd Mayweather. Now, going back to the Shane Mosley fight, one of the main reasons the card or the pay-per-view numbers were so successful is because fans truly believed, finally, here's an opponent that can match Floyd Mayweather's speed, that can match his style of rhythm, slickness, and ring generalship, and all that type of stuff that Floyd Mayweather brings. They felt that Shane Mosley, he could basically match that. And no matter what kind of stupid shit you hear people say now, right before that fight was signed, people were saying that Floyd Mayweather was afraid of Shane Mosley. Matter of fact, I even remember Jim Lampley saying, you know, Floyd Mayweather, when is he going to fight Shane Mosley, etc. Of course, right after everyone said this, that's when the contract got signed. So the point that I'm making is this is the reason why the pay-per-view was so successful, because people felt that this guy had a style that could pretty much match Floyd Mayweather's style. And that's what you need to basically beat Floyd Mayweather. It's what people thought. And this is the reason why so many people tuned in and bought that pay-per-view fight against Shane Mosley, because people truly thought that Mosley had a chance to win. Of course, once Floyd completely dominates him, then they have to make excuses for why Shane Mosley lost, because they are emotionally attached to Floyd Mayweather by hate. But you know that story already. That's for another video. So we've already established that Floyd Mayweather versus Tim Bradley would do very good pay-per-view numbers. It would be a success. I mean, another thing you have to look at or take into consideration is Floyd Mayweather's lowest pay-per-view numbers was against Robert the Ghost Guerrero. And even that was a success story if you're talking about Floyd Mayweather's lowest pay-per-view buys, because of the simple fact Floyd Mayweather, he had to carry that entire pay-per-view. I mean, no one knew who Robert Guerrero was at the time, outside of diehard boxing fans, of course, right? And no one gave Guerrero a chance of beating Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd still was able to generate 800 to 900,000 pay-per-views against a relative unknown fighter. So basically, if you do a breakdown and you look at Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-view numbers since he came out of retirement and fought Ricky Hatton, all but one of his pay-per-views were over 1 million buys. And one of those pay-per-views broke records, which was, of course, the Canelo Alvarez fight. So the next question is, if Floyd Mayweather can easily do 1 million pay-per-views and beyond against an undefeated Tim Bradley, Why can't Manny Pacquiao do it? Why can't he do it? There's been many reports surfacing recently basically suggesting that the pay-per-view numbers between Pacquiao and Bradley are not looking good. The pay-per-view numbers are projected to do about 800,000. And Dan Rafael, he reported that these are Pacquiao's worst pay-per-view numbers fighting in Las Vegas in his last 8 fights. Things are not looking good for Manny Pacquiao, guys. Things are not looking good. And I know some of you guys hate to hear the truth, but the truth is the truth. You can call me a hater, you can call me biased, you call me whatever you want to call me, but you will not call me a liar, okay? And I'm telling you right now, these numbers right now are just projected. But once you have people like Kevin Io from Yahoo, and you have people like Dan Rafael reporting this, it's pretty much a far gone conclusion. Let me just give you guys a little bit more contrast. When Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather broke all records, right? He broke all records. How come Manny Pacquiao didn't do the same thing when he fought against Oscar De La Hoya? Do you guys know that Oscar De La Hoya, or I should say Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya, they did a little less than half of the numbers that Mayweather generated against De La Hoya? And once again, all 3 of the records involve who? Floyd Mayweather. None of the records involve Manny Pacquiao. What does that tell you? That tells you that not only is Floyd Mayweather the biggest draw in the sport, but Floyd Mayweather is also a bigger draw than Oscar De La Hoya ever was. Floyd Mayweather's numbers have shattered every single number that Oscar De La Hoya has done when it comes to pay-per-view buys. Those are all facts, okay? None of that is speculation. None of that is assumption. None of that is just fan talk. What I just said right there, those are all facts. You guys could Google the numbers and you can look at them yourself. So the point that I'm making is, now, if you guys just watched the last video that I uploaded, Freddie Roach, he already openly admitted that it was their fault that the first fight didn't happen between the two, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Now we know for a fact the second negotiations, $40 million offered to Manny Pacquiao, and he turns down that offer. A second offer to Manny Pacquiao that he turns down. $40 million. Keep in mind, guys, Manny Pacquiao turned that down to make $12 million in his next fight against Tim Bradley. Now, I want you guys to look at this graphic that I have up right now. You see Floyd Mayweather is number 1, right? Now, scroll all the way down to that last number that you see, number 7, Tom Brady. Tom Brady made $31 million for the entire year. Floyd Mayweather offered Manny Pacquiao $40 million for one fight. For one fight. And if Manny Pacquiao really had confidence in himself and he was able to win that fight, guess who would be the next big draw? The pay-per-view king in the sport of boxing. That's right. It would have been Manny Pacquiao if he would have been able to beat Floyd Mayweather. So back to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's last 3 fights failed to hit 1 million pay-per-view buys. Floyd Mayweather fights Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd Mayweather, he breaks all the records in the sport of boxing. Manny Pacquiao fights Oscar De La Hoya. Manny Pacquiao, he does less than half the numbers that Floyd Mayweather did. So once again, we know the truth. We know that the $40 million that was offered to Manny Pacquiao was a deal that Manny Pacquiao should have took. Now, and I know Manny Pacquiao, he didn't complete school, but it doesn't take a math major to know that $40 million is way more than $12 million that he got against Tim Bradley. I mean, even Alex Ariza said it. Even Alex Ariza said, I was there when Floyd Mayweather called up Manny Pacquiao and offered him the $40 million. I mean, even Alex said that Manny Pacquiao could have negotiated with Floyd when he offered him the $40 million. You go low, we go high. You know how the shit goes, right? But no matter how you look at it, $40 million is way more money than Manny Pacquiao has made in any fight, okay? You can't go off of the basis saying, oh, well, you know, who's going to take a fight without getting any pay-per-views? I got an answer for that. Floyd Mayweather would do it because Floyd Mayweather already did it. That's right. When Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd was in the exact same position that Manny Pacquiao has been in the last couple of years, which is Floyd was the small guy who didn't generate the type of money that the pay-per-view king, Oscar De La Hoya, did. And because of that, Floyd Mayweather, he had to take the very small slice of the pie. Floyd Mayweather didn't get pay-per-view revenue against Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd Mayweather got 25%, I believe, of the whole pie. But Floyd Mayweather, he understood this was a gamble that he had to take so that he could be the next pay-per-view king, right? He understood that if he beat Oscar De La Hoya, that he's the new king sitting at the throne. And that's exactly what happened. And that's what Manny Pacquiao was supposed to do if he had the confidence to beat Floyd Mayweather. You want to be the guy calling all the shots? Then you got to beat the pay-per-view king. We know, I mean, no one's disputing that, right? Even you Manny Pacquiao fans, none of you guys are disputing that Floyd Mayweather is the pay-per-view king, right? And speaking of pay-per-view king, the difference between Mayweather versus De La Hoya and Mayweather versus Pacquiao is when Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, Mayweather was pound for pound the best fighter in the world, while De La Hoya was pound for pound the pay-per-view king. But see, the difference from the Mayweather-Pacquiao situation is Mayweather, he is now the pay-per-view king and he's the best fighter in the world pound for pound. You see the difference, guys? So Floyd Mayweather basically has all of the leverage when it comes to negotiating this fight. And my whole point, you know, talking about this situation is purely the second negotiations, the $40 million that Manny Pacquiao turned down. Can you guys honestly still tell me that that was a smart move for Manny Pacquiao? And of course you can't. That was a dumbass move. That's exactly what it was. Now, Manny Pacquiao has tax problems. He has this, he has that. If Manny Pacquiao truly believed that he could beat Floyd Mayweather, let's just say hypothetically he was able to beat Floyd Mayweather, and he would have took that $40 million, you cannot tell me that Manny Pacquiao would not be in a far better position financially and even historically than he's in right now. I mean, look at his situation right now. The pay-per-view numbers are getting worse and worse for Manny Pacquiao. So now we know that Floyd Mayweather was right. Now we know that everything that I've been telling you has been right. I mean, I've told you guys so many things that eventually came out and corroborated every single thing that you've heard me say. You know, I remember a long time ago, I was telling you guys that when Nacho was saying he didn't want to fight Tim Bradley, it was a stinking fight, it was a boring fight, it was this and this and that, right? I was telling you guys a long time ago that Nacho understands skill, recognized skill. Nacho understood that Tim Bradley would be somewhat of a nightmare for Marquez. The style, it would be too difficult. And later on, Marquez would agree with me and say that he has a more difficult style than Manny Pacquiao. I told you this is why Nacho didn't want this fight, because he understood the risk. He understood that Tim Bradley had a very good chance of beating his charge, Juan Marquez. And do you know how much hate I got? And I'm not saying this is all, but the Marquez fans bombarded me with nothing but racist ass messages that had nothing to do with boxing at all. But the point I'm making is, only thing I said in that video was Nacho understood how tough of an opponent that Tim Bradley was. And that's how I received all the hate. Just because I spoke the truth, right? Now, of course, later on, Marquez would almost say word for word exactly what I had said previously. Marquez would later say that Tim Bradley is a much more difficult opponent than Manny Pacquiao. Those are the exact words that I used in a video before Marquez even said it himself. Okay? Now, of course, when Marquez says it, it's all good. But when I say the same thing, motherfuckers want to turn the whole damn conversation into a race war. Like I always say, living with integrity means speaking the truth, even if it causes conflict or tension. And that's exactly what happens. You speak the truth and it causes conflict. People send you race messages. People want to talk about who's gay and all of this other shit. It causes tension. People are emotionally attached and they cannot deal with the truth because a lot of people, they tune in to only hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear what they want to hear. But the point that I'm making, guys, is I have been telling you guys this shit since day one. I've been telling you this shit since day one. And almost, not all the time, but almost all the time, I tell you something that a lot of people don't want to hear. Eventually the shit comes to light. It comes to light. And it almost comes word for word. Or at least, I mean, when it comes out, it's almost word for word what I said previously. And some of you guys may not like it, but you would have to admit this shit makes sense. And that's most likely the reason why even the people who watch my videos all the time and disagree with everything I say, they make sure they watch every single video. Why? Because they got to get a dose of that Dante's Boxing Nation. Because they know deep down, this motherfucker knows what he's talking about. I don't like the fact that he's saying this, but god damn it, he keeps making fucking sense. And I can't stand it. Now, when is this motherfucker dropping another video so I can watch it? That's how they think. I know. Because like I said, I see these people, they are the first people to comment on my videos as soon as I upload them. And for those of you guys who don't know who I'm referring to, when you hear me often say the dumbass fans, let me go ahead and make it a little bit more clear so you know exactly what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. You see, when I talk boxing, you'll notice everything that I'm talking about, it's all about the subject. It's all boxing talk, right? That's all I'm talking about is boxing. You never hear me referring to any fighter as being gay. You never hear me saying that's a bitch-made motherfucker, that fighter. Or I'm going to tell you guys straight up, I just don't like this guy. I just don't like him. Now, let me go ahead and give you a breakdown of why I think he's a terrible fighter. You never hear me say no shit like that, right? You know why? Because that's what you would call a dumbass fan. That's what you call someone who does nothing but talks about who they like and who they don't like, which is not boxing talk. It is what you call fan talk, okay? I mean, it would really be nice if these type of people would just be straight up honest and say, look, man, this guy is good, but I can't fucking stand him. I just wish he would fucking lose. I mean, just be honest and tell the truth. Instead of trying to make it sound like you're talking boxing, just, tell the truth and just say, I don't like the guy, because you cannot mix the two. You can't mix emotion with talking boxing. At least most people can't, because most people, they can't separate the two. They correlate it together and you get something extremely biased that doesn't make sense at all. But anyway, this week has been kind of slow for me. And when I say slow, I mean, I've only had to block about 5 people this week, and I only received 4 extremely racist messages this week. I think it was 4. But anyway, the point that I'm making right now is I want people to understand something. We are here to talk boxing. This is what we do. We talk boxing. If you don't agree with my assessment on whatever, tell me why you disagree with it. Don't just send some messages talking about dicks and men, gay shit and all this kind of stuff. No, the subject is about boxing. If you want to talk about gay shit, I would recommend you go to a gay site and then you post little gay messages on a gay site. But when you're on a boxing site, you're supposed to post messages about boxing. Stop thinking about men and dicks and all this kind of shit, okay? Because that shit ain't gonna never be on my mind, and it shouldn't be on your damn mind. Boxing should be on your mind. So if, I don't have a problem with anyone disagreeing with me. You could disagree with me all day, okay? We having a discussion about the sport that we love. But once you cross the line and you start throwing jabs and you start being offensive directly towards me, then that's when your ass gonna get banned from the channel, okay? So I'm just letting people know, because this is what I do. I block motherfuckers. I don't have the time, all right? I don't have the time for the silly ass nonsense. So, either you come correct or you don't come at all. And that's what it is, guys. I'm on to the next one.